ban.
All right, everyone. Welcome to PGL Bucharest Major 2018 SCA Qualifiers. We've got AGV versus Fnatic. We're getting straight into the draft here. I'm Baseskip. Great to be casting for all of you guys. And joining me is Lumi. Lumi, how you going?
10 seconds remaining.
I am doing okay. Getting over a cold, but you know,
5 seconds
time to
remaining.
cast.
Nice, nice.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's do it. Fnatic definitely looking a little bit more set up. AGV haven't quite figured out how the in-game banners work, but we're not going to hold that against them. They've only got half of their logo on there. The other half will be on the back. And we're going to head straight into these bans. So things that I feel like the meta has been developing pretty continuously for this patch. I was even just having a look at like the hero meta stats for the on Dota Buff. They have a hero meta page just for the pro circuit, and having a look at what's been going on there. But has there anything that's really been standing out to you in the last couple of weeks? Because it does feel like things are kind of changing all the time.
5 seconds remaining.
They are, but I feel like teams are... I mean, different teams use different heroes, and we're at a stage where the hero pool is so wide that, you know, even when you're watching the same team, or teams from the same region, it used to be that like teams from the same region always just play the same maybe core 10, 15 heroes. But now even in the same region, you see a lot of variations and differences. So I imagine we're going to see just that in this best of 3 here today.
Yeah, the one thing that does stand out to me a little bit, and I think it's something that Fnatic are doing more of, is teams seem to be favoring some of the greedier range support, and as a result are having to pick some of the less greedy melee, like sort of semi-position 5s. Sort of like this Tusk that we see Fnatic picking up here, because they do love to put DJ on a Rubik or something that can have a pretty big impact with a decent amount of farm, but that's not always going to be your melee roaming support. So I guess we'll have to see. Tinker also going to be banned out. We got some other position 4 bans in the Night Stalker, the Bounty Hunter, and the Clockwork, so that continues to be a pretty big point of contention for most teams. I would say we're seeing we're still seeing lots of position 4s just camping mid now, even with the removal of that extra creep a while ago.
So does Fnatic play this Tusk only on position 4, I imagine? Because I don't see Paladai really playing it. Whereas this is a really good point to go back to what you said earlier, where like I think, for example, Team Liquid sometimes plays the Tusk as a 5 on Kuro, whereas Fnatic, I think that's never the case. So we're gonna see the Sanking here for AGV. So far, so good. Both these supports don't really die to the Tusk Ice Shard. They have, I mean, Rubik could lift somebody out of the Ice Shard, whereas Sanking could just Burrow Strike across it. So a pretty good defensive duel on the support side.
Yeah, I mean, difficult for the Tusk to put too much pressure on them, but I think the other thing is that Tusk can be decent against these single target, well, not necessarily single target, but these more single target focused initiating supports. You pull your core into a snowball, dodge some epicenter damage, something like that could still be quite good. And the Sigil can also be pretty annoying for Sand King if it's scouting around and finds him in the trees while he's trying to line up his ulti. And this is a hero that's been insanely popular. The Tiny has just been first phase material, it feels like, for a while now. Maybe one of the few staples, it feels like, of the current patch.
Yeah, by having him on your lineup, you automatically get a ton of burst damage. You have a hero that is not only capable of carrying the late game, pushing in the late game, but also if you want to play Temple, you could play Blink Dagger, Shadow Blade, and gank for your team. So he does it all. I don't want to say what he's going to buy this game until we see the other core, but he definitely could do, I mean, could lane in most situation, in any lane as well. So just an awesome hero to have in this patch.
Yeah, definitely really nice. And the status resistance feels so impactful as well. Just you can't always get away with like not buying BKB, but there are certain games where the status resistance just kind of carries you through, and you just build up enough HP, and you don't really mind soaking all the spells for your team, and then they can do what they need to. So always nice to have. Lycan has been trending a little bit recently. Fnatic actually were playing in a series just earlier. There's so many qualifiers going on at the moment. Every region is completely jam-packed, and happened to catch Fnatic in the end of that series. They were playing an NV Lycan, so it looks like AGV also doing a little bit of their homework here. as they now pick up the Omni Knight. So looking fairly likely that the Sand King is actually going to be your position
10
4,
seconds remaining.
which to me, the Rubik Sand King is maybe a little bit of a greedy
5
support duo,
seconds
and
remaining.
also somewhat susceptible to being aggressive tri-lane, though I don't think aggro tri-lanes are necessarily as much of a thing these days. Teams seem to be pretty adept at realizing that they've got the less favorable tri-lane versus tri-lane and just break it up, go and pressure the other lanes with their supports, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem.
Going back to the Omni Knight, I think this is a really awesome pickup. If they expect the Tiny to be safe lane, and I want to say like 60 to 70% of the time Tiny is the safe lane. And the reason that Omni is so good is that he's a tanky strength hero that survives the avalanche toss combination. Even if you get tossed back to the tower, if you have purification, you generally just like walk away and live. And once Tiny is out of that mana, Omni Knight just walks up and hammers you down. You gotta keep in mind that Tiny in the laning phase has 0 armor, and Omni Knight could actually walk in and pressure you. So by picking up the Omni Knight here, not only do you get a very decent lane against Tiny, you also force the support to be there, kind of limiting the roaming capability of Fnatic. And Fnatic answers right back with the Visage, who honestly just wants to sit back and pull anyway, assuming that is a support. Obviously, we've seen Fnatic play a lot of mid-Visage back in the day when Excalibur was playing for the team, but that was also a different patch where the mid-Visage carries much harder. I don't really know if Visage could carry anymore, so we'll see where Fnatic plays it, but I'm kind of leaning towards him being the 5 for now.
Yeah, and I mean, AGV also going to be potentially counterpicking it a little bit here as they grab up the gyro. Pretty difficult to play against his Visage, especially if you have your birds off doing their own thing. They just get cleaned up pretty easily.
They just die.
Yeah, they just straight up die to flat cannon. So this is a pretty... I like this gyrocopter pickup. I don't know about you. I think it's pretty good with the Omni Knight. Repelled gyro is already going to be somewhat difficult for Fnatic's lineup to deal with. There is still, I think, a lot of potential playmaking for the Tusk. Potentially saving people from call down and whatnot with the snowball, so definitely eyes on DJ this game, especially since he's such a star player, and I'm sure he can pull off some good stuff here. But the one thing that's a little bit scary about the gyro is that he doesn't have that repel in this game. He's just going to get blown up, right? You get Avatos comboed, you get a shards thrown at you, the Visage chucks a soul assumption, and it's going to be very difficult to survive. So they're going to have to make sure that they take the team fights on the right terms.
It depends what item he goes for. I've been seeing a lot of drums, phase, SMY, that kind of stuff, where you just pick up a ton of residual HP from, random strength here and there. So he can actually just get up to 2k HP, maybe, around level 15 or so. So he will get pretty tanky. And I imagine this is going to be the MV Monkey King, and the Tiny now going to mid, right?
It would seem that way to me. I've seen Envy playing a little bit of Safe Lane Monkey King recently.
10 seconds
on his stream. It's mostly just been going the Battle Fury build.
5
so we'll see if there's any kind of deviation from that. It's more burst, which I think is certainly solid.
It makes the laning all of a sudden really better. Where I say that Omni could pressure Tiny. Now the shoes is on the other foot. Now, you walk in against Monkey King, he slaps you a couple times with a Jingu, then you really can't lane as a melee hero. So I wonder if Sand King is going to basically dual melee bottom, help him out a little bit. Or are we going to see Sand King maybe stick around the mid lane and harass? One thing's for sure, though, I really like the gyro also for the fact that we have a lot of magic damage. That offensive no-fuel from Rubik is going to get a lot of mileage between epicenter, call down. I mean, even if Omni Knight picks up a mid to late game Radiance, sometimes you see like really farm Omni going for that route. Like a lot of this will get benefited by Rubik's no field.
Yeah, they certainly picked around that really nicely. So Fnatic now likely just looking for the Ohio hero, I suppose. Does anything jump out to you in terms of what that might be? Maybe just some more team fights, something like a Tide maybe, or... Tough call.
I feel like they really want a mech hero, so Tide and Pit Lord jumps up to the list for me. Not sure if either of those lane that well against Gyro. Is there really a good laner against Gyro?
No,
that isn't something like Lone Druid?
No, I feel like Gyro is one of the one of the more annoying safe laners to play against. Like the fact that Gyrocopter is picked as a way to deal with Brewmaster in lane, I think speaks volumes about like the hero's current position in the meta in terms of dealing with really annoying offlaners that other carries just really can't do anything about. But it is going to be that Underlord that you mentioned, gives them that mech and pipe hero to beef up the team fight a little bit more. And at least if he doesn't do amazingly in the lane, he is going to be able to go and farm up the jungle a little bit and kind of go from there. So I'm not too afraid for him here.
I said mech, but, you know, pipe is actually much better, like you mentioned. There's a ton of magic damage for the first, 15, 20, 25 minutes. So imagine he's going to rush for the hood and then maybe back for the mech for the team, but he's going to be the designated aura machine here.
Choose your hero.
I do know that Ohio, well, especially on his Darkseer, he really loves Helm of the Dominator. So I don't know if that's something that he thinks about on Underlord at all. Probably, it's not nearly as synergistic as it is on the Darkseer, but could be something that we see. Mech just feels so underwhelming at the moment. I'm trying to think about the last time I saw somebody like other than Tide by a mech, and even then a lot of Tide players will just go for the hood pipe kind of strategy that you were talking about.
Hood Crimson might not be bad.
Yeah, the Crimson Guard actually has some value this game.
Yeah. Against Gyrocopter is not too shabby. So Visage by Pile Die, I'm gonna keep an eye special on him, how he plays the bottom lane. I haven't seen support Visage play recently, so
10 seconds
I'll keep an eye on that. And the final pick of Queen of Pain, decent matchup against Tiny. Obviously during the mid game, you definitely don't want to be on the Queen of Pain. You just get comboed. You don't do enough damage even with your ultimate. But in the laning stage, for the first 10 minutes or so, you can own the Tiny pretty hard, especially if you're getting some help from the Rubik.
Yeah, and I think they're also picking it because of the solid matchup against the Tusk. Like, you know that the Tusk is going to be more than likely pressuring your mid lane, at least somewhat. And having the Quap, you just never really have to mind too much. You get snowball, there's a snowball coming towards you or a shard thrown at you. You can very easily just blink back and be totally fine. And kind of fits in with the overall theme of their lineup here. I can see a relatively strong timing with the Quap and the Gyrocopter. Queen of Pain probably going for the Veil this game, so even more on that magic damage synergy that you were highlighting a little bit earlier. So seems like a solid pickup. And the lockdown from Fnatic is
not good,
but it's okay. But it takes some setup, right? Like there's bird drops and there's the root and whatnot, but all of them kind of have a precondition, whereas that can't always necessarily work against Queen of Pain because landing that first stun is going to be tough.
Yeah, I think on that note, it's going to be mostly up to Abed picking up a Shadow Blade plus a Blink Dagger to get off that key initiation. He's probably going to be running the tempo for the team as mentioned, one of the tools that Tiny could go for. I say that though, he is roaming towards the bottom side, but is going to be starting mid. A ton of items on him, even an Observer Ward.
Actually, yeah, he's got 2 mangoes. Interestingly enough, so probably going to be chucking one straight into his inventory right after he uses that Branch Tango. Envy poked his nose up the hill just a little bit earlier in courier form just to get a bit of scouting information. So I think he does have a pretty good idea that there's a lot of AGV heroes in this top area, and looks like they've in fact so they haven't opted to block out their own big camp, but they do actually have an Observer Ward down here. I haven't really seen.
Yeah, this one was placed first, so they seen the dire one being placed. Looks like both mid will be able to get the. My Siri is talking to me. My bad. Abed looks like he's gonna just walk mid and have Ohio block for him.
Yeah, so Ohio is blocking mid. It's DJ blocking the off lane. And then looks like maybe a bit of a swap coming in. Is Ohio even going to bother TPing down? It's like, nope. Alright, Abed going to miss that first CS here on mid, but creep wave in a decent position for him. And we'll be able to lob the tree and grab the range creep at the very least. Like you were saying, looks like it is going to be the Sand King playing with the Omni Knight up top. So Pile Die not going to have complete free reign of the jungle just yet. Is going to have to do a little bit of zoning and help out Envy. But DJ is already up here. Shard's cooling down. They're putting on a bit of pressure, but looks like Sand King going to be A-okay.
So I really like the fact that they block the pole camp. As a Visage, you really actually do nothing in the first 2-3 levels or so. You can't gank, you can't roam, you can't pressure, let's say, the mid lane or anything like that. And pretty much your job, as DJ walks away from this gank, your job as Visage is pulling, stacking, and getting experience. The fact that that camp got blocked, I don't know how Paladai could play this lane.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. Nice shards. There is still a burst strike for the Sand King, so I think he's gonna be okay. I think they were just maybe hoping to force it, but he will just be able to run himself out. Ohio doing quite well on the bottom side of the map. I was keeping an eye on him, but it looks like those shard blocks and getting the nice wave position right from the very start has worked wonders for him. And the Sand King, oh, gonna come down bottom. They're gonna get the lift back. Ohio in some trouble. Gonna try and stick amongst his creeps. I think he might be going down here. Still doing plenty of damage. First strike coming in. There's the rocket barrage, and no chance to escape. First blood drawn by AGV. That was such a nice rotation. Like chasing forward before the TP even started, and then setting up.
Yeah, and good patience too, because I think a lot of players would have burst strike immediately, and then I think Pitlord just poured away after eating the burrow.
Yeah, that was definitely his plan. He wanted to tank the burst strike in the creep wave, have the rocket barrage do basically no damage, and then just TP. Was not given that opportunity. So, Sand King now heading over towards mid. Looks like he's hoping to maybe find the courier, but they're onto him. So courier's just going to chill out, it looks like, for maybe the next 30 seconds.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to send the courier until they see the Sand King, because this ward did see the Sand King now hasting back in.
Okay, so Envy's doing well in CS. Mid lane actually going quite well for Abed, but he is eating a lot of daggers in the process. 2 nulls already picked up for the Quap. I'm interested to see what kind of build he goes for here. I have seen people still going for relatively high points in toss, just kind of for the harassment and wave push, but the tree grab is also very popular and does help you farm a little bit more overall, so we'll see what he goes for.
I think he probably needs to max up tree grab. Oh, no, I say that he's going to go for toss. The reason that I think toss is going to be...
action down bottom, maybe a little bit of trouble. Ooh, the immediate snowball out of the lift, but they should still have the burst strike. It catches onto both. Rocket barrage cooling down. DJ and Ohio are going to split this as best they can. They've also got the creep wave coming up. Ice shards there. DJ not able to pull himself around the corner, and Grims... Oh, not going to get right click down. Ohio looks like he might also end up falling here. A couple more auto attacks is going to do it. And AGV now with a 3-kill advantage in the early game. And DJ just spamming OKs.
I feel him. You know, he wanted to go for the shards. Normally he's very good at hitting the perfect shards, but did mess up there, unfortunately for him.
Up cliffs, down cliffs, or just wherever you need it.
Yeah.
Alright. Quap not picking up extra regen, does get forced back, it looks like, just between the toss harassment and the tree throw. So actually Tiny gonna start taking over this lane perhaps a little bit. 4-minute rune is up top, it's just an illusion unfortunately. Something like a regen could have tipped this lane even further in his favor. Despite the kill deficit, they are leading on CS in all 3 lanes. In fact, the Underlord even has more CS than the Gyrocopter at the moment. Looks like Cirque is maybe struggling to CS under the tower somewhat, just getting forced in all the time by the Firestorm.
That's the atrophy aura for you, man. Like, he walks in and just mess you up pretty bad. Is DJ going for a pull?
Yeah, he just wants to steal the wave, I think. So, look, I'm the offlaner. Give me this. Give me this creep wave. And River can't really.
So obnoxious. Yeah, he
is.
can't punish that.
Yeah, it's really tough. Well, especially with that new with Fada's new tech, with the just deny the range creep using their wave. That's some disgusting stuff, honestly.
Top lane.
Action up top. They are going onto the Monkey King. Envy trying to heal up here. One more stack. He's got the boundless strike as well. There's the heal. A couple more hits. He's still surviving. Pilot die with another soul assumption. Envy dropping low. Can he make his way out of here? Does have the trick jump. Oh, the purification's not going to actually end up connecting. And Envy might just be able to walk this off. There's the Grave Chill. And Envy is going to be A-okay, it looks like. No salve. He's just going to have to tango his way back up. But and they do get themselves on the board. And he's actually just going to be TPing over the shrine.
Remember the last patch? They nerfed purification by like 50 cast range, or was it 25 AoE or whatever it was?
Something like that, yeah.
Save that would have been a kill.
Well, meanwhile, mid lane, straight up solo kill from Abed. Oh, that is not a good look. See, I think this is why the toss harassment just adds up so much on the Queen of Pain.
Yeah,
8 second.
that's
cooldown.
exactly why he got the. I mean, you see Queen of Pain having a bottle there. That's I think not even the normal build anymore. Like mid players don't go bottle as much, but he's under so much duress from the toss harass that he's going for the bottle, and still dying. That's really unfortunate for him.
Well, Gyrocopter quite low here. DJ has the Ice Shard, then an Arcane Rune in his pocket. So he's not really going to be able to do anything. Sand King up top does have his Tranquil Boots completed. Wants to try and make something happen, but Omni's still only level 4, so lacking that little bit of extra burst damage that they would get from the third point up in the Purification. And, he's going to show himself just to apply some pressure, but that should mean that the other lanes are able to play a bit more aggressively, knowing where the Sand King is at the moment.
So, a relatively passive laning stage, but I think the big winner for me is Abed on the mid lane. I mean, we just saw the solo kill, but you pick Queen of Pain to dominate Tiny for the first 10 minutes, and the fact that she's not dominating is a huge problem for not only Tiny being big, but also Queen of Pain is really going to be lackluster during the mid game. She's a lane dominating hero that isn't dominating a lane. She needs Veil on a good timing.
More action up top, 3 stacks on the Omni Knight. He has to stay in the trees for now. Sand King, no burst strike. Soul Summoner comes out. One more touch is going to do it. Omni now manning up. Doesn't have the stacks in him anymore, but Envy just healing up with the Jingu. At the same time, DJ looks like he was brought down over at bottom. Oh, blink away. Alright. Abed not going to find that one. And Ohio actually was close to leading on the CS there, but it looks like Gyro clearing up a little stack, and is just going for a super tanky build this game. Treads into the drum. No phase boots.
Has DJ been stacking for Ohio? Like, how does he have 48 creep kills?
I think so. Because he wasn't in the lane for a little bit, so DJ is probably stacking somewhat. Speaking of DJ, bit of trouble for him, but Burrow Strike's still on cooldown for 2 seconds time. So he's going to be A-okay.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Fnatic really prioritizing control over just this specific ramp over here in terms of having the vision. And I think it's worked wonders for them against the Sand King, just keeping tabs on any of his movements up towards top. Since this is definitely the much more common path, right, up to top lane instead of just coming straight through the lane the normal way. And he even comes up and puts down an Observer Ward, which is going to get very quickly dewarded.
I think Fnatic also realized that the lane that can only be killed is the top lane, as Paladai gets absolutely blown up here. Well, wait. Alright, he dies to the flag cannon.
Alright.
Well, nice call sound usage, because, I mean, you made this gank happen as a carry, right? You might as well come here and take some CS, because you're not going to get too much done apart from that.
Poor Rubik just got jumped by DJ and Ohio in between the 2 towers down bottom, so they do manage to make some kind of a play, and looks like they're actually going to be the ones to take the tier 1 here. So the same rotation from both teams, but less commitment from Fnatic. And looks like
solo smoke up top.
Yeah, Monkey King baiting a little bit here, but Envy just going to get burst struck and brought down. Now they're waiting for Pi to TP in. There's at the Grave Chill. DJ also on his way through, but now Abed gets tossed back into the Avalanche. Can they get the first damage? They will be able to. The burst strike is not in time. That's 2 cores dead. And now the Sand King has a couple of wand charges, trying to make his escape. The toss, not actually going to find the damage, as it looks like Sand King will be able to juke his way out of this one. And does TP back to the fountain, but they end up getting 2 core kills. They lose Envy, but they also get the tier 1 tower down bottom, so Fnatic once again with a little bit of an outmaneuver.
Fnatic is basically making almost the same rotation, but they're doing it with fewer heroes, and they're getting more results. I think just a sign of a better team.
I think they're just reading the map a little bit better. I think maybe that's also the nature of their lineup, that they have more potential ways to lead something off with the Monkey King and the Tiny at the moment. And also Abed is just kind of flexing his early game lead, right? At this point, you'd expect the Queen of Pain to be making some Sonic Wave rotation. She's that kind of a hero where you want to be using the Sonic Wave as often as you can, because you don't really sit around and farm all that well when it really comes down to it. So Klopp's playing the catch-up game, unfortunately.
Abed just roaming the jungle. All that illusion rune tanking all of the rocket barrage. Nice toss back here, but I think they're gonna get Abed regardless.
Yeah, it looks like he is 100% dead. Ohio considers the situation for a second, and then just runs away.
I think if you got the toss of Rubik, Rubik might have been had a little bit of issue there. I am surprised that he did leave the lane to kind of make a foray into the jungle, because I think he had like 1,400 gold before he died there. Maybe sitting back and farming that dagger would have been the way to go.
Alright, lurking around here up top. They are going to have Ohio coming in as well. They're going to lay down the Monkey King ultimate Wukong's command. Going to do some work. They now get the Entangle as well. Gyrocopter going to just TP himself out. He's going to be okay, and now Ohio and Envy need to make their escape. Looks like they should be able to. The lift away attempted, but they're out of there. And straight up to top.
Well, DJ's coming right back in to actually get this kill, but there's a repel, and now DJ is going to go down.
Okay, little bit of feeding going on, potentially, in the Radiant jungle. But Fnatic still with the overall lead. 12-minute rune coming up.
I mean, you call it feeding, but the way I see it is that they might have died there, but they don't give away anything. Like, they don't, like, for example, lose a tier 1 tower or something like that. In fact, it's Fnatic that is pressuring up top now, with Tiny finishing his Blink Dagger. And once Abed has the Blink Dagger, I think it's almost lights out for AGV.
They're coming in, Underlord in some trouble. They're going to get the Grave Chill off. Highlight Eye just going to have to make a run for it. Birds will immediately be brought down. Ohio pretty tanky, but not tanky enough to survive a 5-man game. And down he goes. Alright, so AGV just kind of, I guess, feeling pretty pressured with their map control situation. Somewhat desperate to try and get this tier 1 tower down if they can, but I'm not even sure if they... looks like maybe Fnatic are just giving up on it. They want Abed to pick up his blink. Also, side note, but are people's stashes kind of weird for you? I mean, they're quick buy. Like, if you click on Abed, is his quick buy super weird?
Is under attack.
Or am I...
it's empty for me.
Well, I see like 3 empty spots, which are... I don't know.
I think it's just weird for you. It's fine for me.
Probably some strange bug. Alright, Ohio's still keen to defend this. Abed with a very short range blink forward. He looks like already scouted perhaps by this Radiant Observer Ward back behind, so... AGV, they came poking and prodding, and they end up not really getting all that much. Envy lurking around at bottom. Oh, who is going to find who here? Both position 4 players moving into position. Really good dire vision in the area, however.
They see the Sand King, and that's why I don't think they can make the go. I mean, if they make a go, this is a present, a feed.
Alright, Gyrocopter into trouble. Now they come in with the snowball, punch him up. The damage not quite enough. He's very tanky with this build, and he's going to be able to turn it around. Now Eternal Envy looks like he'll also end up dropping. Nice little bait from AGV, and they will end up finding 2 kills as a result.
The funniest thing about that engagement is that Fnatic knew like how many heroes were in the fight, and normally pro players are very good at making that judgment. It's like, okay, we don't have enough for this kill, and they just still went for it.
Well, looks like Omni Knight sticking around a little bit too long. Fnatic, he managed to find some kind of revenge. I think it's just a bit unexpected for the Omni there that the rest of the team would turn up and kill him after they just lost 2 heroes. But Fnatic were en route to apply some more pressure. Looks like DJ just going to be pushing out the mid lane somewhat at the moment. And then another engagement coming through. They are going to get some damage onto Ohio. Does he have the Dark Rift? He actually does not at the moment. He might be in some trouble. They're going to send the birds forward if they can. He's going to try for the TP out. There's actually not enough disables. Sand King Burst Strike must have just been on cooldown at the end there. And they don't get anything while Fnatic have 2 heroes off farming the rest of the map.
Yep. Eternal Envy closing in on that Battle Fury. I guess we haven't really mentioned why Battle Fury is such a common and good item on Monkey King, but the short of it is that it's obviously a very good farming item. It helps your balance strike to do maximum damage during the mid game. And also, a lot of Monkey King farms a ton with the Primal Spring kind of just jumping around, assassinating creeps. And that does take quite a bit of mana, so the Perseverance part of the Battle Fury is also very useful for farming purposes. I think a lot of the more farming-oriented carry players really love the Battle Fury. For example, CTY loves getting it on Monkey King quite a bit. Bottom side.
Sand King. Only 1,100 gold worth of progress towards the blink. The fact that they're starved on towers is really starting to show up in some of the item progression for these poorer heroes on the AGV side. Balance Strike coming out. Envy not going to be jumping down, however, just kind of holding on to this top tower if they can a little bit longer, but maybe he's going to be brought down. Does manage to jump up onto the tree. He's got the spring to get himself out of there. Just wasting some time as they try and take out the tier 2 at bottom in exchange for the tier 1 up top. And I say try, but they're going to succeed here. Looks like Abed going to be actually give it to Paladin.
I mean, we are seeing the weakness of the AGV lineup, whereas that if they don't really snowball from the laning stage, they really have no tower caping capabilities, right? Yeah. Whereas if you look at Fnatic, the Firestorm is so good at kind of pushing the waves. You got the Visage Birds, you know, chunking the tier 1 towers quite easily.
Yeah, and even just the tiny, some toss damage, the tree grab adding a little bit extra on top. Quap just working their way towards the Lincolns right now, which is, I don't know, the Lincolns is a little bit surprising to me, actually.
What is it blocking?
It's Grave Chill, Soul Assumption.
It doesn't block toss, right? Like that's actually the most important spell. If you get tossed, you die. That's pretty much the case in point. And yeah, not sure about the Lincolns.
Like I guess the thing is it feels too early for a BKB, but at the same time, I don't think the Lincoln is going to do that much. I wouldn't mind a Hex, honestly. I think gone are the days of like the Hex Rush Quap, but there is a reason that it used to be popular. And could be alright this game. Just supplement their initiation a little bit, since it is only the Sand King, pretty much this game. That's the one downside of picking a hero like Omni Knight in your off lane, right? If you're not snowballing and managing to keep things pushed forward, then you just don't really have very much catch. It all comes down to your position 4 at that point. Fnatic kind of have the same thing going on, but they have the tiny, right? And he's gone for the initiation build with the Blink Dagger.
Yep. Their saving grace is that Rubik has been stealing Firestorm, so
yep,
that will help you defend and farm. But I think Fnatic is okay playing just a farm game. They have better farming heroes, they have more of the map to farm, and they have easier catch. So when they see Radiant heroes kind of farming in the jungle, they can pick them off with like Tiny, Tusk.
Their vision game has been exceptional as well.
Yep.
They've really maintained really good deep coverage. I mean, this tier 1 tower has been up on mid for ages for AGV. I mean, still standing now, but Fnatic have just been moving through around the side and kind of keeping full tabs on everything that's going on the mid lane that way. Higher, getting chased a little bit here, but I don't think Gyro's really going to be able to do too much, and he's threatening the turnaround. He does actually have some heroes in the area, but Gyro's just going to head off upriver. In terms of their vision, they don't really see too much. They've even got a Tinker ward placed. Well, I guess it's a Monkey King ward this game, but you know, expecting Envy to continue playing bottom and shoving out bot and then farming their jungle, but they're going to be disappointed since Envy's actually just taking up residence on the dire side of the map, farming away with his Battle Fury.
It's also not a bad ward against like Tiny, right? Like just kind of generally hides in the tree and look for free kills in the side lane. So that's a pipe pickup on Omni Knight, which is not an item you see too often, because to me this is kind of like, hey, the game is going pretty bad.
They tried to go on the Queen of Pain. Can they get this little turnaround? DJ going to go for the TP out. Abe gets the blink away. They're not really going to get punished. Meanwhile, on the other side, it's position 5 versus position 5, and Highlight Eye just going to chew through the Rubik. No problem whatsoever. The flak cannon shots will chase after the birds, but he's got the Gravekeeper's cloak, so they're going to be A-okay. And it just ends up being the Rubik death overall, and some more farm for Fnatic.
One of the strengths of Visage as a support is that if you walk around warding and you find an enemy support, you probably just kill them with Grave Chill and Birds and Soul Assumption. So.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
He's got the Solar Crest now, so Fnatic's Roshan is actually so strong between the Firestorm. Now they've got Solar as well. So probably take out this tier 1 tower on the mid lane and then look to secure that. Oh no, poor Rubik, he just TP'd in again. No. Pylite die. No mercy at all. He does get lifted. Down's going to come in. They've also got the Queen of Pain jumping around. She's relatively low. Does need to tap that shrine. Heal back up. The birds, will they survive? Wow. They get back into the Gravekeeper's cloak range, and they're going to be just fine against the Rocket Barrage. Meanwhile, up top, Omni Knight forced to pop his ultimate as Envy and DJ going in deep. DJ this time around does not have the TP to get himself out of here. The Sonic Wave. Looking to finish him off. Envy trying to block the vision just around the corner, but not going to end up happening. Can he make his escape? Looks like he's going to be just fine. Ohio going to lay down the Firestorm. Looks like going to be enough damage with the Boundless Strike. Threatened by Envy. He's trying to chase. Can he get the snipe is the question. No, another blink away. Now an Epicenter getting laid out onto Pylai Die. Fnatic fighting on two different fronts. Sand King, Burrow Strike still on cooldown for another couple of seconds. Omniknight coming around the corner. He has healed back up. Looks like Pi should finally be going down to get the toss into the pit. Into the Boundless Strike. The Chainstone from Fnatic. The stolen Boundless Strike now from Grims. But not really going to lead into anything. And Fnatic just running circles around poor AGV. They
fell for the Visage bait, the classic Max Graveskeeper cloak.
Who needs Soul Assumption? He doesn't even have 4 points in Soul Assumption yet.
I mean, Cloak is definitely one of the first spells you max, if not the first spell you max. Makes him so tanky. Oh, look at that initiation though.
This is so sick, and they got the combo damage on the Queen of Pain. Is it going to be enough? She's a little bit tanky, but still, that lockdown is insane. They even had the snowball ready to go, just in case.
How did that snowball come in so much later?
I don't know. I think he he probably started it right as she died, and then.
I mean, Quab died for a good 2 seconds, and then DJ comes in. Hey guys.
What's up? Do you need some more stuns? Set up for another route, perhaps?
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Once again, the Fnatic warding game continues to be ridiculous. They've got a really deep ward inside of the Radiant base. Sand King finally has that blink, but it feels like they're not even that far behind in terms of the net worth. But just their ability to take fights is not really there. They do have a BKB on the Gyrocopter, so maybe that helps the situation a bit. But Fnatic just are only taking fights on their terms because of the vision situation, right? They drag some heroes bot, then they know they have an opportunity top. They're just playing so well.
I mean, they got an in-base ward. They got a ward right outside the mid lane as well. I mean, they see whoever that's like sitting the base.
And I think they even know that AGV have moved forward a little bit, and now they're hoping for the flank. They're dangling Ohio as bait. Envy with his Echo Saber picked up. 3k gold on top of that, but AGV have split up. 2 and 3. Who's going to get jumped on? They are moving forward. There's the ward up here. Can they find the Sand King first? No, they are going to focus on the Queen of Pain. They've got the chain stun. Bop's already gone. Now the Gyrocopter comes in from behind, but what can he really accomplish? Epicenter attempted from the Sand King, but he's just going to get chain stunned as well. Nice 2-man burrow, but they're just running away from the Gyro. Pylai Die going to be A-okay. Nice snowball dodging everything, even the homing missile. They've already lost 2 heroes, and now the Omni Knight won't be let into his base. He gets charted up, gets sent up into the air, and he'll be brought down. Rubik looks like he might be able to make his escape, but no, Boundless Strike. They're not going to let him go either. Nice familiar drops from Pylai Die to keep him locked in place. And Abed, not even done, wants to toss back. Can he get it before the homing missile connects? The blink cooling down. He really wants that toss back, but can they get it? He's playing with them. All right, Gyrocopter finally comes outside of the fountain, and he'll be brought down. We saw the OKs from DJ at the start of the game. He's definitely feeling okay at this point. And Ohio being the objective gamer. Pushing on mid. You willing to call this one at this point, Lemmy?
I mean, I call this one maybe... Actually, when the Quab got solo killed by Abed, I knew this game was going pretty bad. Can we see one last hurrah? Sand King, let's go.
Combos, jump in, burrow, only onto 1. Envy waiting on the high ground, has the Boundless Strike ready to go. I think he's just waiting out that repel, perhaps, or just taking in the view, admiring the scenery. Abed also waiting for his perfect initiation opportunity. Envy maybe just his hands off keyboard at this point, who even knows? Just seeing if his team can do it without him. They know that he's up there. That scream did follow up. Nice 3-man burrow strike, but what is going to be the follow-up? They are going to pop the BKB on the Gyrocopter as he charges forward, but they're just so tanky. They've got the mech, they've got the pipe. Ohio's still healthy. Pylai Die still extremely healthy. The BKB wears out. Envy finally makes his approach into this fight. He just wanted the Wukong's command. He does get lifted up, might get bursted down, in fact. Can he actually heal? No, Envy ends up dying. All that patience was for nothing. It looks like Abed taking some big damage. Almost brought down. Looks like just a little bit too tanky, and they will get that escape with the Underlord. So you asked for one last hurrah, and you got it. Envy perhaps suiciding somewhat in that fight. Kind of jumping in, didn't get the Wukong's command off, and just got bursted.
Envy being Envy.
Yeah, pretty much. He decided to go for the Desolator instead of the BKB as well that he had queued up, which to me is like a Oh, we've already won this game. I should end it a bit faster. Oh, Omni-Knight getting jumped on. Do they have the chain stun? Can he even get off this repel? No opportunity whatsoever. Very nicely done from Fnatic. That was even without any bird stuns. What do they got? They're going to toss the Underlord on top of the Gyrocopter. He's got his BKB in 5 seconds time, but will he be able to get it off? Also, no. Tree to the back of the head, and he is dead. Queen of Pain doing her best to very quickly push out these lanes, but I would guess Fnatic either just heading in for another Rax push or maybe grabbing the Roshan and then heading high ground. Guess depends on whether or not Envy can convince his team to get the Aegis for him.
They probably don't even need Aegis, but it's literally free with Desolator and Solar Crest.
And Firestone.
Yeah. Structures are fortified.
And they're just AGV. I mean, they found a little bit of a second win. They're cutting some waves. They're doing full Fnatic strats in this, or full Envy strats. Let's call it, right? It was C9 before. It's Fnatic now. We're behind. Let's just do everything that we can to drag the game and make some chaos. But Fnatic still feel very firmly in control. What do you think of this Spirit Vessel rush on DJ? Do you think there's... I thought maybe he'd get a blink, but...
I think it's because he's up against Omni-Knight, right? Wherever you're focusing, you throw a Vessel Charge, Purification becomes pretty useless.
Yeah, certainly.
So I think it's just more of a game-specific kind of situation.
Yeah, and he's been doing pretty well with the Snowball, even without the blink, so... Seems pretty solid. Omni just working in a 4-staff. That Monkey King pick really kind of putting a spanner in the works for him. The ability to move the Tiny over to the mid lane and then still end up with a favorable matchup, I think was what really set things into motion for Fnatic this game, right? Like, there's no way that they should be able to pick the Tiny in the first phase, swap his lane, and get the mid last picked. You know, AGV clearly thought that, okay, the Queen of Pain is gonna manhandle this Tiny, and then we'll be fine with the lane advantage. It was not the case. It was not to be. There you go. We got that Envy Aegis in hand, ready to go.
All right, let's go, guys.
Yeah. Do you think AGV needs to try and take the fight outside of the base here? The chip from Fnatic is not that good, right? So you can probably just stay inside your base. And,
I don't see them gaining any kind of significant strategic advantage by flanking them outside. The backline is actually really hard to kill at this point for Fnatic because of Visage Cloak, and of course Tusk is hard to kill whenever he snowballs. So I think they're gonna just try to hold their high ground for the longest possible, and maybe stealing Firestorm would be the way
the Gyrocopter out of the base. The chain stunning as well. He does manage to get the BKB off, but it is very low commitment just to force the BKB. And Fnatic know exactly what their play was there. Just pop the BKB, back out. Now that it's down, maybe paves the way for them to make something happen. Queen of Pain does manage to split push out this tier 1 tower down at bottom. A bit of gold. But Gyro just gets bursted by Abed. Blinking in on the mid lane. These D-wards from the supports on AGV have just not been there. Fnatic continue to have amazing vision inside of their base. And with no Gyrocopter, I don't know what they can really do. They're going to toss back onto this poor Rubik. Does manage to get a couple of spells off, but to no avail. He's brought down. Meanwhile, top tier 2 gets taken, so that paves the way for Fnatic to move even further in. They are going to buy back on the Gyrocopter. One last hurrah. He has queued up a Rapier in the quick buy. He's thinking big. They are going to jump in. They've got decent burst damage. Who can they actually kill off? Envy drops low, but he's still got that Aegis in hand. Ohio, not quite so lucky. Looks like he will get brought down. The Snowball saving him just a little bit longer. Envy choosing to disengage for the time being, as Ohio actually not going to get burst struck up. Let's get saved by the Pit of Malice, but now Envy going to lay down the ultimate, and the Wukong's man goes to work. He picks up an immediate double. Abed also waiting in the wings, ready to jump in with the burst damage. Fnatic completely biding their time, baiting them outside of the base, and then closing the door at the final round.
So I've seen a lot of teams kind of counter-picking a Tiny by placing Queen of Pain in a game. Again, you need to dominate him in the laning stage, and even that, during the mid game, you're still in a lot of trouble. Monkey King blinking in. Ooh, good to get the toss back out into a punch. Oh, the Snowball save.
So sick.
Normally found diving is pretty BM, but that made it okay.
If you make it stylish, then it's all good. Okay, so very convincing from Fnatic in this game. Do you think maybe Tiny gets banned next
No,
game?
to me it's not really about the draft. I'm sure like Fnatic had a decent draft. I think they had a small advantage in the drafting phase, but to me it's more the first rotation around the map where Radiant brought a whole bunch here up top. I think they only were able to get 1 or 2 kills. Fnatic came back, got a couple of kills up top. I think both the Core Style Omni Knight and the Gyrocopter. Meanwhile, Ohio was able to push tier 1 tower. And then, of course, the solo kill in the mid lane from Tiny versus Queen of Pain. It's just Fnatic is kind of outplaying them pretty much for the first 15 minutes. And from then on, it's easy for a team like Fnatic to kind of coast and win the game.
Yeah, just they got that early advantage. I mean, we had a brief glimmer. Well, there was even a glimmer of hope for AGV at the beginning when they got the kills. But if you look at the graphs, it says that those kills ended up being worth nothing. They really weren't able to snowball that really small advantage that they had at all. The Gyrocopter rotations, I think, were good, but the Queen of Pain just really couldn't get that much of a foothold in the game. It was.
I've seen a lot of team pick Quap into Tiny, and I haven't seen it work yet.
It'll be interesting to see what how the meta around Tiny continues to develop, because like you said, it's pretty versatile. Seems to be having fairly high impact. Versatile not only in terms of the lane that you can play him on, but the fact that you can go multiple different builds.